After what Eric and Rishi did to Harper at the end of the season 2 finale, and in which position are they now in season 3, and what were you more eager to explore about them?
We start the season with Eric in a place that we've never seen him. He's a drinking problem. His marriage has collapsed. He has 2 little girls. It remains to be seen what the custody situation is. He has presumably, spearheaded this new ethical investing angle that Pierpoint is pivoting to, that he presumably played a huge part in, but it's cost him his personal life. So, I was interested in exploring kind of the breakdown of his, well-positioned, armored, control.
I think I was always keen to see who Rishi was away from the trading floor. We saw a snippet of that in season 2 when, he got engaged and then when he got married. But I personally still wanted to delve a little bit further into that, because I think a lot of what we saw of Rishi was how he performed at work, how he was good at that, how he was bad at that, how he behaved in those circumstances. But I definitely was keen to see the Rishi that we don't know. Like we all have, we all code switch to an extent, we all are one person at work, and then we are a different person at home. We're a different person with our friends. We're different people with our families. So it's just learning about what code switching looked like for Rishi. And, very fortunately, we were able to see that in this season when it comes to his home life with Diana, and also then her family, which sort of kicks into another gear. So, I'm very, very lucky that the boys were able to do that, and it allowed me to learn a little bit more about Rishi that I probably didn't know, which I'm always open to.
And about who they are at work, there was a line in the season that I really liked, which Benicia said that she's bored of working with, or in a dictatorship of dying men. So how do you think that the show and your characters tackle toxic masculinity in the industry?
It's a good question. Masculinity, especially toxic masculinity, especially in this day and age, is almost a buzzword. I don't know. It's tough because, you can look at so many different characters within the show regarding masculinity. You have, what actually is a really interesting moment referring to masculinity is the scene between Robert and Ken, which is, I'm not sure if you've seen the teaser, but it just touches on that, where it's like, I'm a man and I'm relentless.
Yeah, I watched the whole season. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a huge insight into what masculinity looks like in this world.
Yeah.
It's sort of telling you to put aside your emotions and be relentless at work. At least that's my takeaway from it. I'm sure Ken can divulge a bit more about it being in that scene, but that's one interpretation of what masculinity looks like in those worlds. When it comes to Rishi, again, once we get to episode 4 and through episode 4, I actually think he's questioning what his masculinity is. I think he had a vision of what masculinity is, but he gets to the end of 4 where he's being called out from a few things, especially amongst the team. And, he has this really sweet conversation with his wife in bed where he sort of turns around and he says, am I a misogynist? And he's starting to question the type of guy he is, has been, and wants to be. And essentially, I think that plays into what masculinity is today in 2024. It's looking at how masculinity is defined in a way that it never has been before. It's looking at allowing men to express themselves in a way that they've never done so before emotionally. And that in itself is its own version of masculinity. But it's a huge topic, and there's so much I think we'd probably need a bigger conversation to explore that a bit further. But yeah, those are the things that kind of stick out.
What about Eric? Now that he's in a new position, he has more power. And how does the character tackle that discussion?
I think for Eric, he's not self-reflective in a way that he thinks of it in terms of toxic or not toxic masculinity. I think that there's the story we don't see about Eric is how he got to be where he is from season 1. But it is presumed that, he had to kind of fashion a personality, a way of working, a way of being strong and making things happen in such a way that it's created this kind of monster. But I don't think he's not a self-reflective monster. He sees it as this is how I was taught. This is how the business works. This is what needs to happen to get ahead. And, that moment that we're talking about with Robert, he needs to be somewhere, and it's just, what does it take? Never mind the cost, never mind what he's upset about, never mind the human in front of you, but you need to take that and whatever you need to do to get to that, to where you need to be, you need to do that. So, I mean, just in saying that, there is very little self-reflection about the consequences of that.
Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. It was really interesting listening to both of you. And congrats for the show. Congrats for the season. And in particular about that 4th episode that you were talking about. It was amazing. I didn't expect that. And I hope that everybody gets to see it. So see you next year, hopefully.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Yeah.